So it looks like Terence Crawford is finally open to fighting Jaron Ennis. After ducking the IBF welterweight title holder for so long, we could finally see these two fight it out in the ring. However, there's a reason why Crawford might decide to give Ennis a shot. Listen to what Fan in Boxing had to say.
Terence Crawford says that he would fight Jaron Ennis, but Jaron Ennis has to get Terence Crawford out of his rematch clause with Errol Spence Jr.
So Crawford wants to get rid of the Errol Spence rematch, which is his mandatory challenge. Many believe that Crawford fighting could be a possibility in 2024. Here's what Hasim Rahman had to say.
Ennis catapulted himself to that household name that died. It's for money and credibility. I think so.
So is Crawford fighting Ennis to get out of the rematch clause with Errol Spence? What's the latest on Crawford versus Ennis? Stick around and watch as we find out in today's video. The latest rumors about Terence Crawford's apparent interest in fighting Jaron Ennis come as a surprise to many, especially considering that not too long ago, Bud slammed the newly crowned IBF welterweight champion. Jaron Ennis has been calling Crawford out for some time and wants to challenge him for the remaining belts in hopes of becoming an undisputed welterweight champion. Crawford, meanwhile, has rejected Ennis's latest offer because, according to him, he already had 2 opportunities to make the fight happen, but he blew them away. There has been constant drama involving these two, and fans were hoping to see them fight it out in the ring in 2024. Unfortunately, that wasn't possible until now.
Terence Crawford says that he would fight Jaron Ennis, but Jaron Ennis has to get Terence Crawford out of his rematch clause with Errol Spence Jr.
You see, Bud faces a challenging year in 2024. With a record that speaks volumes about his prowess in the ring, Crawford finds himself in a unique predicament with limited options for high-profile fights. His anticipated rematch with Errol Spence Jr. is now on hold, and other potential matchups have slipped through his fingers. Crawford's most significant setback comes with the delay of the much-awaited rematch against Errol Spence Jr. This fight was not just a chance for Crawford to solidify his dominance in the welterweight division, but also an opportunity to settle any lingering debates about who is the top fighter in the category. Besides, Crawford wasn't particularly interested in the rematch, but wanted to get rid of it as quickly as possible. However, Spence's recent announcement of undergoing eye surgery has pushed this rematch into an indefinite hiatus. The recovery period for such surgeries can be lengthy, leaving Crawford without his most lucrative and legacy-defining fight for the foreseeable future. Adding to Crawford's challenges is the collapse of rumored negotiations for a potential fight with WBO super welterweight champion, Australian Tim Tszyu. This matchup was highly anticipated as it would have pitted Crawford against a rising star in the 154-pound division. However, Tszyu opted to face former welterweight champion Keith Thurman instead, a decision that left Crawford without a key opponent and a significant fight in 2024.
Okay, fight fans, let's go. Real news, it's your boy Keith Thurman versus Tim Tszyu. Coming to you, Las Vegas, March 3rd.
Crawford's plans to move up in weight and challenge Canelo Alvarez have also hit a roadblock. Alvarez, a superstar in the boxing world and the current undisputed super middleweight champion, seems uninterested in a fight with Crawford. This lack of interest from Alvarez's camp has shut down another potential avenue for Crawford to make a significant impact this year.
And I can't go down anymore. But, like he say, when they ask him for the Germonta fight, they don't want to get credit for that fight. It's the same for me.
With his primary options off the table, Crawford faces a year of uncertainty. His skill and reputation mean he is not short of challengers, but finding an opponent who can bring the same level of excitement and challenge as Spence, Tszyu, or Alvarez is difficult. Crawford may have to bide his time, waiting for the right opportunity to showcase his talents on the big stage. Keep in mind that Crawford's rematch with Spence is a mandatory fight that he cannot avoid, but he seems to have found a loophole that could help him avoid fighting Spence, and that is where all the latest rumors about Crawford's interest in fighting Ennis come from. You see, Crawford has a condition if a fight with Ennis does materialize. Reports indicate that Crawford is ready to face Ennis only if this matchup helps him sidestep the Errol Spence rematch. This stipulation is not just a mere contractual detail. It's a strategic move that speaks volumes about Crawford's current standing and his plans in the welterweight division. At first glance, Crawford's condition might seem perplexing. Why would a fighter of his caliber, known for taking on formidable opponents, want to avoid a rematch with Spence, especially considering the potential financial and legacy benefits? Several theories could explain this. Firstly, Crawford might be seeking new challenges and views a fight with a rising star like Ennis as a fresh and exciting prospect. Alternatively, this could be a tactical decision to avoid the risk associated with a second Spence fight, preserving his record and reputation. Crawford's condition also highlights the intricate dynamics of the welterweight division. The division is currently in a state of flux, with established champions and emerging contenders vying for supremacy. By choosing to fight Ennis under this condition, Crawford is potentially reshaping the division's hierarchy, positioning himself in a way that could bring new opportunities and avoid the pitfalls of a high-stakes rematch. It looks like Terence Crawford is willing now to entertain the possibility of fighting newly crowned IBF welterweight world champion, the Phenom as I refer to him. For Jaron Ennis, this condition presents an opportunity. A fight against Crawford propels him into the upper echelons of the division, offering a chance to prove himself against one of the best. Besides, Ennis and his team are ready for a showdown with Crawford. Derek Bozy Ennis, father and trainer of Boots, exudes confidence in his son's readiness to fight Crawford for his belts. In a recent interview, Bozy discussed various aspects of Boots' career and his potential matchup with Crawford. He emphasized that while other fighters in the welterweight division are talented, they don't match up to Boots' level, especially in a fight scenario against him. Bozy highlighted that the boxing world has yet to see the best of Boots. He pointed out that in previous fights, Boots hasn't had to delve deep into his skill set or go into his pockets to pull out his full potential. This implies that in a high-caliber fight against someone like Crawford, Boots would reveal abilities and tactics that he hasn't yet needed to display. Discussing the business side, Bozy mentioned their ongoing deal with Showtime and the support they have from the network. He expressed satisfaction with their current position and the backing they receive, indicating a strong foundation for pursuing significant fights like the one against Crawford. Bozy was vocal about their desire for title fights, expressing some frustration over the politics in boxing that have delayed their opportunities. He emphasized that they have been actively trying to secure title fights for a couple of years and are not interested in being handed titles without earning them in the ring. This desire for legitimate challenges underscores their readiness to take on top fighters like Crawford. And they know it. They know it because some of the guys that's talking that crap is the ones that we wanted to fight. Right. Oh, me? Yep, absolutely. Addressing the criticism and challenges they've faced, Bozy conveyed a sense of resilience and focus. He mentioned how they have been proactive in seeking fights and have not shied away from tough opponents. This approach, combined with Boots' skill and Bozy's training, positions them as formidable contenders in the division. A lot of people are interested in seeing this fight happen, and some even shared their insights and predictions. Professional boxer Aaron Peterson shared his thoughts on the potential fight, emphasizing Ennis's readiness and eagerness for the matchup. Peterson highlighted that Ennis is not just waiting for opportunities, but actively seeking them, challenging top fighters in the division. Peterson questioned the notion that Ennis needed to prove himself further before getting into a fight with Crawford. He argued that Ennis has already shown his capabilities and deserves a chance at the big names in the division. According to Peterson, the focus shouldn't be on Ennis's resume, but on the fact that he's consistently applied for the big fights and is being overlooked. Drawing parallels with Crawford's career, Peterson recalled how Crawford got his big break in a replacement fight against Prescott. He suggested that Ennis is in a similar position, deserving a significant fight to showcase his talent on a larger stage. Peterson touched on the differing opinions among boxing fans. On one side, Crawford's supporters feel he should look for bigger fights than Ennis, while on the other, Ennis's fans argue that he's the mandatory challenger and deserves a shot. This divide highlights the anticipation and controversy surrounding the potential matchup. Using a job application analogy, Peterson emphasized that Ennis has been actively seeking fights with top boxers. He likened Ennis's situation to someone constantly applying for jobs, but getting turned down despite being qualified. This analogy underlines Ennis's situation in the boxing world, where he's ready and willing to take on the best, but faces challenges in securing those fights. Christopher Guerrero, a sparring partner of Boots, also shared his insights on the potential matchup. Guerrero expressed his admiration for Crawford's achievements in the sport but hinted at a possible reluctance from Crawford to face Ennis. He suggested that Crawford vacating the IBF belt, which Ennis recently claimed, might indicate Crawford's hesitation to engage with Ennis, a rising star in the division. Guerrero recounted his sparring experience with Ennis, emphasizing Ennis's exceptional skill and power. He described the intense training sessions, noting that despite his best efforts, Ennis's prowess was overwhelmingly superior. Guerrero's experience in the ring with Ennis gave him a first-hand view of the young champion's capabilities, leading him to believe that Ennis poses a significant threat to any opponent, including Crawford. When discussing a hypothetical fight between Ennis and Crawford, Guerrero was confident in Ennis's ability to win. He acknowledged Crawford's status as a top pound-for-pound fighter, but argued that Ennis had an edge in terms of skill and boxing IQ. Guerrero highlighted Ennis's youth and strategic thinking, suggesting that he was always several steps ahead of his opponents. Guerrero's admiration for Ennis's talent was evident throughout the interview. He described Ennis as the best boxer out there, surpassing even renowned fighters like Canelo Alvarez and Crawford. Guerrero's perspective is shaped by his direct experience with Ennis, giving him a unique viewpoint on the young champion's potential in the ring. But what are your thoughts on this? With the Spence rematch fiasco, are we finally going to see Jaron Ennis versus Bud Crawford? Let us know in the comments. That's it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell for the latest notifications so that you never miss out on videos like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.